Hello, Steve Mills here, and it's great to be back on YouTube and back on video. I really do believe quite passionately in the power of video. It's great to get a message across like I'm doing now, because I can be enthusiastic like I am in real life, and give you some great ideas and ways in which you can grow your business, which is what this is all about. Just to give you a bit of background of me, I've spent 25 years now working with small businesses and helping them to grow, to make significant growth in their business. I'm all about helping a startup business get to the first 100 grand in the quickest possible time, getting the 100 grand business to 1 million, getting the £1 million business to 10. In other words, to give Grant Cardone a mention here, 10x in. Look at this. I got my own 10x cup there. It's all about getting to the next level. And today I want to talk to you about one of the keys and one of the ways that I've been tremendously successful, not only in my business, which probably wins about, I don't know, approximately 100 grand a year from LinkedIn, but also my clients. I have one client made £42 million. He came on my workshop. He paid for a few £100 for a day on my workshop and made £42 million as a result of it. Now, that's not too bad a return on investment, not enough to live on, but you could probably just about get by. I've got others who, have made 100,000 a month, 1 million, and so on and so forth. But I could tell you honestly that I've also got people who've gone on the workshop, gone, "Oh, that was a really good day, Steve. Really enjoyed it," and made nothing. Why? Because they've not done anything. Tony Robbins says that knowledge is a waste of time. The application of knowledge is everything. So it's not what you learn, it's what you do with what you learn that makes the difference. So I'm going to talk to you today about LinkedIn. Just before I do, though, just to let you know, I'm running a workshop soon on this, a one-day workshop, give you everything that I know, my full 6-step system for winning business on LinkedIn. If you want to know about that, if you go to my website, stevemills.co, and click on the training page, there'll be all the details of the next workshop. So all that said, let me talk to you about LinkedIn. I mentioned a moment ago about my 6 steps. Now, I've got time to go through all that today. That takes a day to go through. But what I will tell you is about step 5, right? I'm going to go to step 5. I'm going to tell you about the paid for side of LinkedIn, the opportunity that I believe is well worth testing for most people in business. And when I say most, I'm talking 99%. There are several things that you can do here. I'm going to just outline them for you so that you've at least, I can't again show you everything that you need to do. That'll take, a few hours, but I can give you an outline of what's available, what the opportunity is. So firstly, you can put an advert on LinkedIn that is targeted at a specific group of people. Now, LinkedIn advertising allows us to target people based on their location, the size of the business, the industry that they're in, the actual name of the business. So if you want to win business from, I don't know, Vodafone, then you could target people who work for Vodafone. Whether they're male or female, and also the age of the people, and also their job title. So if I wanted to target, I don't know, accountants in Birmingham who work for companies employing 50 to 100 people who are men or who are women, because I might want to have different words in different adverts for the men or the women, because people are different. I mean, particularly if I ran, let's say, for example, a gym, if I ran a health club, the way I target a 20-year-old woman would be very different words to the way I target a, 58-year-old man. It would be different. So, we need to think about that. But anyway, that's the opportunity. Now, the great news is it works on a pay-per-click basis. So, in other words, if it doesn't work, how much is it going to cost you? The answer's 0. Zero. Yeah, you can put an advert on there, target these people, and if nobody clicks, it doesn't cost you anything. Now that, I think, is a great opportunity, and shouldn't be missed. Now, the other way of doing it is saying, look, I don't want to target people based on that criteria. What I want to do is to target people who are already interested in me. What do I mean? What I mean is, you can tell LinkedIn to advertise to the people who've been to your website. Yeah, you heard me right. The people who've been to your website then get advertised to on LinkedIn. Now, don't ask me how it works. I've got no idea. I'm not a techie guy. Go and speak to some techie type person and they'll explain how it works. All I know is it works. Okay. So if 1,000 people come to your website, when they've been to your website, they then log into LinkedIn and all of a sudden you're advertising to them. That's what happens, and that's all you need to know. Okay. Third way of doing this is to advertise to people already on your email list. So you've got a list of 10,000 names on your email list. And what you want to do is to present those people with adverts on LinkedIn. Now, you could say, well, why would I pay for advertising when I can already send them emails? And that's a really good question. And my answer to that would be that this is another medium for them to see you. You're trying to build a relationship. Now, you can't send them, well, you could, but you probably don't want to send them like 2 or 3 emails a day. But every time they go onto LinkedIn, they start to see you. You probably realize I do this, not all the time and not all the things, but I certainly use this myself in my business. And the one thing that this has created for me, apart from loads and loads of leads, is people say to me, oh, wow, Steve, you must be really successful. You're everywhere. You're advertising everywhere. And, and whilst that's a great thing to achieve, it's really about leads ultimately. So, but I get both of those things. So that's really good. So there's I think 3 ways of doing this. Now, there is another way as well. The other thing you can do is you can take your advert, instead of it being like down the right-hand side or across the top on LinkedIn, and you can embed it. You can embed the advert into someone's homepage, right? This is a little bit like in the good old days when we did newspaper advertising or magazine advertising, where we'd have an advertorial, in other words, an advert, but it actually looked, in all intents and purposes, pretty much like an editorial, a piece of news, but it was actually an advert. And that's where we stick the advert in the news, in the homepage. So we can do that too. Now, doesn't end there, because what you can also do is produce a video advert, a little bit like this. Yeah, so we could produce a video advert. So if you're looking, and by the way, if you want to know how to do this, I'm going to show you everything on my workshop. If you come on my next LinkedIn workshop, I will go onto LinkedIn and I'll click buttons on the web. This is not like a slideshow presentation. This is live on LinkedIn. I'll say, click that button there, go down here, press that there, and you can bring your laptop and you can actually set this up while you're on the workshop. So again, if you want to know how to do all this, go to www.stevemills.co, click on the training page, and book on my next workshop on LinkedIn. It'd be the best thing you did. So go to the page. However, on with the story. One other thing you can do, and this is really cool, you can tell LinkedIn to send an email to these people, whoever these people are. So again, if I wanted to target accountants who work for, companies employing at least 50 people, who've got the job title of managing director, partner, or director, and they're based in Manchester, because I'm running a seminar in Manchester, then, I can do that. I can just say to LinkedIn, send an email to these people. Now, you may be thinking, well, what happens if I don't have their email address? Don't matter. You don't get their email address. You just send it's actually an in-mail. You know the difference between an email and an in-mail? An in-mail is sort of an email through LinkedIn. So they send it through the system. Now, the great thing about that is that, I don't know about you, but when I get an email or an in-mail through LinkedIn, I know it's from somebody that I know. And so I regard it slightly different to a normal in-mail. And so I might want to I probably would be more likely to open that in-mail and to read it. And so I think what I'm saying here, I think, is that emails are viewed a certain way, and emails through LinkedIn are viewed in a more positive manner than sometimes, I get 250 emails a day probably, and I get 2 or 3 in-mails a day. Which am I more likely to look at? And you know the answer. So that's a great opportunity as well. And just to sort of summarize this, all this can be tested. You don't have to invest like $4,000 in some advertising on the radio or on the in a newspaper or magazine. You can just spend, I think it's as little as £8 a day on this. Just do a little bit of it. Get proof of concept. Know that for every £10 you spend, that's producing 5 leads for you, and that produces 3 meetings, and that produces 2 sales. And once you know that, how much do you want to spend? Unless you're selling something for 50p, in which case you shouldn't probably be doing this type of advertising. But assuming you've got a reasonable value of sale, it's an absolute no-brainer. And all we need to do is get proof of concept to make sure that you know what's working and what's not. So that's it for today. Thank you ever so much for listening. This is just one small part of LinkedIn, and it's probably a part that you didn't know. You didn't understand that. And if you didn't, again, get yourself on my workshop. It'll be in your area pretty soon. And if you can't do that, then go to my website again, stevemills.co, go to the training page and sign up for the online training. This way you can train yourself 24/7. Inside 5 minutes, you can be on basically my day's training put onto the internet so that you can access it 24/7 from anywhere in the world. So, go and do it. I'll put a link below this video on YouTube. But other than that, go to, again, stevemills.co, Steve Mills, MILLS.co, and then go to the training page and you'll have all the details. Thank you ever so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope it's, triggered, a thought for you. I really do believe that this is worth testing, worth trying with a small conservative budget. Depending on the size of your business, if you're a one-man business, then you might want to just invest £10 a day in it for a few weeks, see if you can win some business. If you're a multi-million pound business, then that maybe, I don't know, £100 a day for a month or 2 and see how that progresses. Either way, it's just a matter of managing the risk, getting proof of concept, and then upscaling. Thank you ever so much for listening, and I look forward to speaking to you again soon. Thank you.